there's nothing wrong with going into little tiny towns in the middle of Tennessee and trying to see if you can find storage. Everybody wants to get into storage. I get it. All right. It's kind of like, I love storage. I mean, it's like the best thing that ever happened to me. Everybody wants to get into storage. And, the hardest part to get into storage and any type of real estate investing niche is just like, okay, what are my first steps? What should I be doing right now? Okay. So I kind of just thought I would just do like the first steps so that I could really guide you, help you get out there, start looking for deals, and just give you some tips and tricks on kind of like what we're doing internally to find all of our deals. Actually, I'm wiring money over today. It's like scary when you have to wire like $1.3 million. It's kind of scary to wire that money over. I'm purchasing a property for $1.4 million. We're wiring the money over today to the attorney, and we're closing on the deal today. So we're closing actually on number 16. This number 16, this thing has been taking me forever to close, ever. But finally we're closing on this deal, and this could be a fantastic deal. We're closing on today. So we're closing on. I closed on in the last year. We closed on quite a few deals. Now I'm buying bigger deals right now. Like I'm moving on up. Okay. But the concepts that I'm teaching, even if I talk about a $1 million deal or a $2 million deal or a $3 million deal, the concepts are still the same, right? It changes when you're getting into 50,000 square feet, maybe it's bigger players and stuff like this, but the concepts are the same. You can apply everything that I'm saying to a $200,000 deal or a $2 million deal. And my deal analyzer can do that as well for you as well. So don't get afraid because I'm doing bigger deals. I have the first 11 or 12 deals that we bought were less than $1 million. All right. And then the last 6 that we bought have been over $1 million. All right. We still haven't even gotten past $3 million. All right. So we're not buying super big deals or anything. So what that means is that we're buying deals in secondary and tertiary markets. Right. So you want to keep that in mind. Right. What type of market? You got the primary market. And then you've got the secondary and you've got tertiary, right? Now, notice how small the primary market is. Like for some reason, everybody thinks that they have to own storage in the primary market, yet those markets are really just like major cities and the market is really not that big. And there's way too much competition and the prices are too much and there's too much turnover, right? Because prices are too high for tenants. I mean, right now, you really have to think about what can a tenant afford? And people can't afford $300 a month for storage right now. They just can't. Turnover in primary markets is really, really high, especially right now. Occupancy is a huge problem throughout the entire country. And when we used to run our numbers at 92% and higher, we're now running our numbers at 85%. The goal is to get to 85%. If you're at 85 to 90%, you're doing great right now on occupancy because there is so much, storage out there. Now, in the secondary and tertiary markets, notice how big those areas are, right? So there's a bigger area of secondary markets. There's a lot of cities that have populations of so say 25,000 to 100,000, okay? 25,000 to 100,000, okay, population. Okay, and then that's for secondary markets, and tertiary markets is less than 25,000. So that's what you have to think of. Now think of less than 25,000. There is a lot of land in the country, across the country, where there's a population of 25,000 or less. There's more cities and more towns that have less than 25,000 people than there are in the primary market. So your market span is way bigger in a tertiary market. And your prices are going to be lower, right? Your prices will be cheaper prices there because the cap rates are a little bit higher. So these two markets right here really kind of instead of focusing on, I live in Nashville and I want to invest in maybe a suburb of Nashville, right? Where you have to spend millions of dollars in order to invest. You know, there's nothing wrong with going into little tiny towns in the middle of Tennessee and trying to see if you can find storage. All right. So in fact, the first, 12 facilities that we owned are all in tertiary markets. And then all the ones that we bought in the last year are in secondary markets. And actually, there are what I call sub-secondary and sub-tertiary markets. Sub-secondary and sub-tertiary, right? So sub-tertiary would be like actually maybe even smaller, right? Smaller cities like 5,000 or less. All right, make sure put these under. I feel like this goes under. Okay, so sub is 5,000 or less. Okay, and then secondary would be like maybe 25,000 to 75,000 or something like this. Okay, so we'll do 25 to 75. Okay. So we actually are really in like one facility that we own is in a secondary market, and the rest are either sub-secondary or tertiary or sub-tertiary. Okay. And so we've worked our way up. So getting started in a tertiary market, there is nothing wrong with this. Hey everybody, this is Stacy here. Thank you so much for watching this video. I am here to teach you how to get your foot into this industry. You're watching this video because you want to learn how to get started in self-storage investing, or maybe you own facilities and you want to be a better manager, a better owner. That is what I do, is I teach people how to do that. So please like this video and also subscribe, hit the subscribe button, because that's what YouTube wants. So in order for me to get out the word on how to get started in this industry, I really need your help. Again, I appreciate you listening to me, and I'm here to help you on this journey, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.